Okay, this is the second in 3 videos, which is about our research project and the emerging findings. And I'm going to be focusing on one of the data strands, which is the celebrity case studies. So alongside data that we've collected from young people thinking about how they engage with and talk about celebrity and aspiration, we've also wanted to think about, well, where do these stories come from? So for this we've done what we've called 12 celebrity case studies, and we've been looking at the mediated representation of 12 celebrities. And within this we're thinking about how notions and ideas and stories around aspiration, around success, failure, hard work, ambition, talent, how these get associated with particular celebrities and the way that they're talked about in the media and by people who engage with the media. And again, thinking about how these might be classed and gendered, and then relating this back to young people's talk about celebrity and their own aspirations. So what did we do? Well, we focused on 12 celebrities and really trying to privilege the meaning-making practices of the young people rather than our own adult or academic concerns. We selected these 12 based on those celebrities that generated the most discussion among the young people in our data. And as you'll see on the screen, the 12 that we ended up with were Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Prince Harry, Tom Daley, Bill Gates, the footballer Mario Balotelli, Kate Middleton, Emma Watson, Nicki Minaj, Kim Kardashian, Katie Price and Beyonce. And what we did with these celebrities was that over a 6-month period we tracked their media representation across a number of key outlets and also public discussion about these celebrities. So for each of our celebrities there were sort of different sources that we used, but these included sort of key text or outputs of these celebrities. So for example, a film that's particularly associated with that celebrity, or a music video, a biography about that celebrity, also media stories about that celebrity over that period. And then we also increasingly looked at social media as well, so we collected data from places like Twitter and YouTube, and that's both celebrities' own kind of Twitter accounts and the way that they self-promoted, but also the ways in which increasingly people discussing these celebrities on these platforms, celebrities that they like, that they dislike, and we thought it was really important to collect data from that. And we were also trying to be really responsive to key sort of flashpoints or events in that celebrity's biography. So for example, when Emma Watson's film came out, or Kim Kardashian had a baby, or Justin Bieber had his latest prank, we knew that there'd be lots of debate around the celebrities at those points, so we really made sure that we collected data around those key moments. What I'm going to do, just to give you a sort of flavour of some of the data that we collected from this data strand, is to focus on just one of our celebrities, one of our 12 celebrities, and this is Will Smith, who is the obviously African-American Hollywood actor, previous rapper and a TV star who's probably most well known for his appearance in the long-running series The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And he was actually universally liked by our participants and talked to very positively, as very cool, as inspiring, as a legend. So what we did for this was, over 6 months, we collected data from a range of different outputs. This included tweets about Will Smith, news stories in national newspapers. We reviewed a number of episodes in the series of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and selected key scenes around aspiration, about education, about race, about class within this that we sort of thought were really integral to Will Smith's celebrity. And then we also collected data from other additional sources that are associated with him, so films like The Promise of Happiness, an inspiration video on YouTube, which I'll show you a clip of, and Will Smith's biography. So this was the kind of set of sources where we collected data about Will, and I'm just going to give you some kind of insight into some of the ideas around aspiration that are associated with Will from this. So looking here at some of the tweets about Will, there were some kind of quite interesting patterns in the way that Will Smith was talked about on Twitter. One of these was this idea that he would be a dream father, so lots of tweets about how amazing it would be if you woke up and Will Smith was your dad, or that he adopted you. Lots of ideas that he was a legend and really cool. This idea that he was a kind of antidepressant, that he's so humorous and funny and lifts you up. So there was this tweet is an example of this idea that he's an antidepressant, you know, this idea when you see Will Smith dancing it makes you happy, and I think this was following his appearance on the Graham Norton show where he sang The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and there was lots of interest on Twitter following that. And then these final 3 tweets that you'll see on the screen are really illustrative of other ways in which Will's talked about on Twitter, which is these kind of almost motivational and self-help tweets, which are quotes from Will about success. So ideas that if you've got a dream, then you should pursue it and protect it, that fear is a choice, and that you shouldn't let success go to your head and failure to your heart. And we're really interested in how these kind of very motivational and inspirational quotes get recirculated on Twitter. And we found this video on YouTube which has 2.5 million hits, which is about Will's stories of success and inspiration. And there's a link below which you can go and view this video. And this here talks about, this is a compilation of quotes and segments from interviews with Will Smith, which are about his philosophy on success. And this is all about his absolute belief in the power of hard work and determination. And he actually talks about having a sickening work ethic, and that anyone could be talented or more clever than Will Smith, but he will die on the treadmill trying. So this idea that he's incredibly determined and motivated. And this was very common in the way that Will Smith is talked about on Twitter. These ideas around self-belief and motivation. And another really interesting piece of data that we found through collecting this case study data was an article that Will Smith wrote on the election of Barack Obama. And the quote is up here on the screen. But what's really central and fascinating for us is the way that Will Smith spoke out here and claimed that America is not a racist society. And this idea that he says, that I love that all of our excuses have been removed and that there's no white man trying to keep you down. Because if he really were trying to keep you down, he would have done everything to keep Obama down. And he talks here about he realised that that there wasn't anybody trying to stop him, and in fact that there are white people trying to help him on his kind of career success. And he says, if Barack Obama can win the presidency of the United States, you can absolutely be the manager at Saks. And he says, come on, it was such a fantastic experience for me to be able to say out loud that I love America and not be called an Uncle Tom. So what does this mean? What are we kind of trying to make of the significance of this data that we're finding around the construction of Will Smith's celebrity? Well, in many ways, Will Smith can, of course, be seen to provide a very good role model for young people, particularly young black men, encouraging them to believe that they can do whatever they want, that they can fulfill their dreams as long as they work hard and don't give up. And this is, lots of people would celebrate this and say this is, if we're thinking about celebrity, then perhaps Will Smith is someone we should be celebrating as a positive role model for young people in relation to their aspirations. However, we really want to sort of start problematising this, because we think that, what might be problematic in Will Smith and his incredible success philosophy and this idea of of investing in hard work is that we can ignore the significance of racism, of racial inequality, which structures young people's lives in the contemporary. And we know, for example, from recent research that there is racial inequality in young people's transitions through education and the labour market. So, for example, some references here, some work by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation that was very recent, and this argues that despite young black and minority ethnic men obtaining good educational qualifications, their unemployment rates are higher than for their white counterparts. And in fact, African graduates in their 20s are 7 times more likely to be unemployed than their white counterparts. And equally, if you think about education, we have Michael Gove and other government ministers encouraging young people from disadvantaged class or ethnic backgrounds to be applying to the great and the good in terms of Oxbridge institutions. But we know that there is racial inequality in the success rate of applicants in getting into those elite universities. So then, we want to think about this very critically and think, well, if Will Smith is arguing or is representing this idea that there is no racism, that it's all about individual hard work, what does this mean for young people and the way in which they formulate their own aspirations and perhaps their own experiences of moving through education and the labour market? And I think tentatively we want to argue that Will Smith provides perhaps these kind of post-racial fantasies of meritocracy, which quite problematically obscure racial inequalities and discrimination which affect young people's opportunities and transitions. And again, if we think about what Laura spoke about in her video, about this real investment of young people in this ethic of hard work, this is problematic because it obscures the presence of inequalities, but more so it perhaps prevents young people being able to access a vocabulary through which to understand those as sort of coming from much broader structural issues rather than their own individual faults or lack.